I see confusion online about Unity 2020's goal of dealing with opportunity hoarding and rent seeking, as some view these as abstract assertions. Can you provide specific examples of these behaviors in practice and how the current duopoly enables them? So let me, before you answer that, it's a big question, and we're not going to spend, that could be a whole hour. But I don't remember if it was in the Q&A last time. I also actually stopped you at one point and said, let's talk about what rent seeking is, because some number of people are going to just think rent and think, cancel rent, which is one of the, like abolish the police, defund the police, cancel rent. So that we have talked about that recently as well in an attempt to deal with the obvious problems of always speaking in abstractions.
Yep. So let us talk a little bit about rent seeking as it exists and why Unity 2020, which does not have a platform, nor does it aim to have a platform, would address it. We have many instances in which we have a solvable problem that persistently remains unsolved. So our incredibly cruddy way of paying for and allocating the right to healthcare is a primary example. Why can we not figure out a system in which your health conditions are dealt with as a matter of distributing the hazard over a risk pool? It's not complex what the problem is that is to be solved, nor is it complex what the solution is. The problem is that we have an industry in charge of something which markets cannot be allowed to do because they will inevitably do it poorly. So if you are in the insurance game, and I don't mean if you are providing insurance, which could be done well, but if you are in the insurance game in the sense that you are an insurance company in competition with other insurance companies, you will inevitably discover that the way to win the insurance game is to insure the people who are least likely to need insurance and disinsure the people who are most likely to need the insurance. So the job of insurance, which is to neutralize the risks that we face when somebody has done nothing wrong and has gotten a cancer, we can distribute the cost of paying for the treatment of that cancer across the entire population. Basically, you don't know whether you're going to get one or you're not going to get one, but we can all agree that I would like it not to be ruinous if I get cancer, and so we can distribute the risk across a large population. But if my insurance company is in the profit-making business and it discovers, well, actually, we'd like to give the insurance in case you get a cancer to people who are least likely to get it, and we would like to disinsure the people who are most likely to get it because that's the way to enhance the profits, then what we end up doing is disinsuring lots of people who are equally deserving of being protected from this hazard. So, in essence, the solution involves neutralizing the market forces that surround insurance. Now, who do you think opposes that? People who are making a profit in insurance. Why can't we solve that problem? Why do they have a vote? Well, they have a vote because of the way that things like lobbying influence policy. So persistently, we are scratching our heads and we have two parties that pretend that there's some big disagreement on how to make the system work, right? That's going to explain why they fail to solve it decade after decade, when in fact they fail to solve it decade after decade because they're both in the pockets of these insurers whose racket involves making money by preventing people from having insurance who should have it. That's the racket, right? So that's rent-seeking behavior. The insurance companies are providing some service, right? But they are also getting a ton of profit from something that is not only not providing any useful service, but it is interrupting the service that they're supposed to be providing. So why would a Unity 2020 ticket address that? Because if you got patriots in the White House, then what you would have are people who had no incentive to keep the system going and were in a position to call it out, right? There's an awful lot of power in that. It never happens. The parties arrange for that not to happen so that we never solve the problem, so that their real constituents, who include the medical insurers, never have to face the terrible system that they've built. So I hope that explains it.